Good evening, everybody. My name is Michael or Avi, and today we're going to be discussing about a few various topics. But somebody in my previous live stream mentioned Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I do run a cryptocurrency channel, but I have to mention this right now. For all of you who are not familiar with it, it might be an interesting time to research Bitcoin, considering the block reward halving is in about 12 days. By the time you watch it, depending where you are around the world, the date is going to be 12 days away, less than 2 weeks, where the block reward for miners will go from 12.5 to 6.25 coins. Now, if you're unfamiliar with all of this, I will leave a link below to a video on my other channel explaining about this and all of the links in this video so you're able to familiarize yourself with this topic. Now, the reason I mentioned the Bitcoin block halving is because the price is going crazy, and some people are asking me, why is it going up till $9,000, $10,000, maybe even higher? Is it a good time to invest? That depends, not for everybody. If you're unfamiliar with this, don't worry, there's plenty more times to buy into Bitcoin. Right now is just a rally right before the Bitcoin block halving. In addition, with a few crazy worldwide events such as the pandemic and the Dow Jones, unemployment, all of that, negative oil prices, this all goes into the price of Bitcoin, where currently it's at $8,800. It changed upwards of 13%. The 24-hour increase was 13%, and the market cap of all cryptocurrencies jumped up to $250 billion. Today's video, we'll be discussing cryptocurrencies, COVID-19, and the deep web. Finally, a little bit of news on it. So let's roll the intro. Hopefully you guys are excited, and namaste. The reason I did this is because some people aren't shaking hands, so they're just doing this. I do that to a lot of people. So let's begin with the dark web. Dark web vendors capitalize on COVID-19. Alongside fake antidotes and vaccines, surgical masks, hand sanitizer, and even toilet paper being sold at an exorbitant premium on numerous darknet markets, there was an extreme example where one seller was identified to be offering bats of blood. Bats of blood, that probably is vats of blood, so there's blood containers and saliva that are purportedly infected with COVID-19. Now, just because someone is selling it on the dark web does not mean it's legitimate. With certain substances it might be, but this is probably a scam, at least that extreme seller. Now, for certain countries around the world, people might be actually selling hand sanitizer and surgical masks because certain countries ban this, and if it's banned on eBay or the local Craigslist version, well, they're just going to go on to the darknet and get cryptocurrency orders, and they're going to remain anonymous because the police, sure, they're going to be looking for these packages, but it's not as important as other more illegal things, because you're going to find hand sanitizer. Okay, they're going to seize it, in worst case scenario, nothing's going to happen to the sellers. However, a COVID-19 domain was seized after an attempted sale for Bitcoin. So the U.S. Justice Department has seized coronaprevention.org. It was a domain being advertised to criminals by suspected money launderers. So the U.S. Attorney's Office has seized a fraudulent domain name after the owner tried selling it for Bitcoin. So a warrant obtained by the U.S. Department of Justice alleges that the owner of coronaprevention.org listed a domain for sale on a hackers forum the day after President Donald J. Trump declared a national emergency. The seller's ad promoted the domain as an effective means to sell a high markup in demand products. So a warrant was launched with a special agent. The HSI agent pretended to be selling fake coronavirus test kits, which the site owner described it as genius, adding that they had intended to sell fraudulent tests but couldn't get enough cash to buy them bulk from Alibaba. Oh no. The owner requested $500 worth of Bitcoin for the domain, with the Homeland Security agent making a partial payment. So he didn't even get $500, probably like $250. And then the domain was seized, and maybe this guy was arrested. The probable cause suggests that the domain's owner has laundered monetary instruments, caused the laundering of monetary instruments, and aided and abetted the laundering of monetary instruments. Man, that is just crazy to see how much it jumped up. For those of you who are interested in buying Bitcoin before the halving, this is, again, something you need to do a lot of research right now. We're going to skip all of this, except maybe the key takeaways. You can often buy Bitcoin using debit cards, your bank account, or PayPal, although this is not anonymous, of course. Bitcoin is fairly easy to buy in the US and UK, but there are exceptions. Watch out for big fees when you're converting cash into crypto assets. So the Bitcoin halving is in 12 days, and that is going to be more information in the video that I provided in the link. Why halvings are excited? So they're rare, they happen once every 4 years, and the previous years before, it's not like the price jumped up immediately after. The price usually jumps up before because of the hype, but long term the price does indeed go up, and we did come out of crash, and now with the world economy sort of crashing in this whole pandemic, a lot of people are expecting that Bitcoin might hit past $10,000. That's a psychological break point, and it might go up towards 15,000, 20,000, but that's later on. It's not like it's going to jump up immediately. Yeah, it might jump up a few $1,000s, but it's volatile. It could also fall down, but up, down like a swing. And before it gets to $20,000, a lot of you guys would sell. So you need a lot of patience. And you also need the money to invest. You need an emergency fund. You need to do this the smart way. How to buy Bitcoin. So a few things to remember before using fiat currencies to buy crypto assets. First up, the fees could be a little nasty. Then there's KYC checks. So if you're ordering large amounts, the companies might, well, the companies are going to look into it. And if you're not paying your taxes, they're going to screw you. So that's why sometimes if you're ordering larger amounts, you don't want to use the main websites. You want to remain anonymous. However, if you're buying smaller amounts, there's Coinbase. A method of payment is bank account, debit, and credit cards, PayPal. It's not available in Hawaii, and they have Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and others. Binance, it's not available in a bunch of states, but it has debit and credit cards. And eToro, that's kind of a new one. They're doing stocks and crypto, so they allow credit card, PayPal, NetTeller, Skrill, and wire transfers. So we resumed this the next day, and Bitcoin's at 8,697. It's dropped a little bit because earlier throughout the night, it actually hit a high of $9,422.60. That was at 819 UTC plus 2. So that hit a total market cap of 173 billion, and currently it's at a total market cap of 159.6 billion. So pretty close to $10,000 right there. And let's finish up buying Bitcoin in 15 minutes or less. Cryptocurrencies are illegal in some countries, so do check before you buy. This is with Coinbase. You just got to download the app, and here's Coinbase. Although this is advised for newbies, beginners, and you might get some crypto extra if you refer people. However, I have to say I'm banned from Coinbase. So not too happy with Coinbase about that. It's been a few years now. Banned for a pretty silly reason, in my opinion. I was receiving cryptocurrencies, donations from some of my subscribers, and maybe some of my subscribers were unfortunately doing some shady things with the Bitcoin, and Coinbase, based off of that, has banned my account. And I tried getting it unbanned, and that's that. And there's been worse stories where people had thousands and thousands of dollars, even 5 figures, that were stuck, frozen. So just be careful with Coinbase, and if you are using any platform, whether it's local Bitcoins, Coinbase, or even your buddy just gave you some crypto, once you have a large amount, get a cold storage wallet like Tezos or Ledger. So let's just say you're using Coinbase. You got to download the app, create an account with your name, email, a nice strong password. That is recommended. You can use some websites to give you randomized, long, crazy passwords, and I use that. Verification time, so you got to verify, you got to answer some questions, and this is for tax purposes. If you don't want to do that, well, you got to go an anonymous route. You got to upload your ID, add a payment method, and then you just buy Bitcoin at the price that it's at. Now it's going to be a little bit below probably what Google's telling you, and yeah, that's because there's fees with Coinbase. There's fees everywhere, and with local Bitcoins and the more anonymous platforms, you're going to be paying much higher fees, but don't worry, there's ATMs like this one, the S-Coins Club, has some pretty decent prices for ATMs. Usually it's 3-4% that you're paying, and yeah, it's nearby. It's a good way to remain anonymous for lower amounts, but larger amounts than with Coinbase or, the major platforms allowing you. Local Bitcoins is a good one. Like I said, there's going to be some that are a little bit more expensive, and this is just a random seller who has a lot of crypto. Taxful, I personally prefer more than local Bitcoins. Same deal, you can pay with PayPal or gift cards, random stuff like that. Bitcoin, things to remember. First off, you want to check out their security standards, as some have faced a few nasty hack attacks in a few years. So exchanges can fall under an attack. Never keep your funds under an exchange, because if an exchange falls, you might lose your funds. Sure, the exchange, well, if it's a good exchange, it's probably going to give you your money back after some time, but it could be up to a year And with the varying prices, you're going to get your crypto back, but maybe if you sold it, you wouldn't have lost $2,000 depending on what crypto it is. There are differing opinions on how much of your portfolio should be devoted to Bitcoin, anywhere from 1% for a casual investor to 10% for an aficionado. And lastly, remember that you're liable to be taxed on any gains. So there's ways to avoid taxes, but if you do it the wrong way, you're going to get taxed. And currently, we're going to update it, and by the time you see this, it might be 11 days or even less now. There we go, 11/17. Oh, that's beautiful. But let's do the last thing. COVID-19 coronavirus. 500,000 Zoom accounts for sale on the deep web. Which, by the way, I made a TikTok now for discussing deep web DNM content. So you might want to check that out. Link is in the description below. So around 530,000 Zoom users have been put up for sale on the deep web, where hackers and others trade often illicit goods. In this case, the blame shouldn't land at Zoom's doors. It seems the logons were lifted during attacks on other sites, where about 500,000 people use the same password as they do for Zoom. Oops, and that's another reason why if you use the same password, don't, because you're going to get hacked. And there's actually a website where you're able to check out where there have been attacks where most likely your email has been revealed and other personal information about yours. And most likely, if you use your email often, you could have been hacked more than 10 times or even 20 times. So just be aware of that. If you can't remember 70 passwords, there's a password manager program out there for everybody. So there's various password manager programs. I personally don't use one because I just keep it somewhere written down, but that might not work for you. Although Zoom gets a pass on this particular controversy, it continues to get a barrage of criticism over its security and privacy, and there are issues with Zoom just like there are with TikTok, where that the people who created it, the company, they might have access to your info a little bit too much. And Facebook had these issues, Instagram, everybody, every major social media platform or communications platform has issues with this. Some are worse than others though. What's interesting, during the pandemic, user numbers have exploded from around 10 million to about 200 million, so Zoom's profiting nicely. There have been some various fixes, but it hasn't fixed everything. The lesson is one we need to learn and relearn. When a company fails to protect our privacy, we shouldn't just continue to use its product and tell the people we care about to use it just because it works well and is simple to use. Once we lose our privacy, we rarely get it back again. Our advice is that Zoom should only be used for discussing information classified at restricted or below. It also provides clear recommendations on steps that users can take when using Zoom to reduce the risk of security breaches. So that is that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're interested in cryptocurrency content, check out on Kubera, and we shall see you guys in the next video. We're live streaming every single day, so check those out. Follow me on TikTok, and if you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share. Good night and good morning for some of y'all. Bye.